About our bilateral relations with Russia. Last year, we celebrated the 35th year anniversary of our diplomatic relations with Russia. In those years, in the last 35 years, we rather have a very cordial relations with Russia in the political, economic, and socio-cultural fields. In the political field, we have a continuing dialogue, political consultations every 1 or 2 years. We have a very good cooperation and relations in the international fora like the United Nations and the ASEAN. As you will note, Russia is one of our dialogue partner of ASEAN. And in the economic field, we are having a very good start in the last few years. And if you will look our trade figures, it seems that we have a lot of things to do there. But we would like to close a little bit the gap between our trade balance. And insofar as investment is concerned, we would like to invite our Russian friends to look into our extractive industry like our mining and of course energy, oil and gas, and infrastructure like the projects of our PPP, the public-private partnership. We would like also our Russian friends to look into our tourism infrastructure. Many of the Russians in the last few years have come to the Philippines for tourism purposes. Let me tell you the figures I got from the Department of Tourism. A few years ago, about 4 years ago, 5 years ago, there were only 4,000 Russians who visited the Philippines. Last year, we have 21,000. So if you look at the trend, there's a surging or there is a sudden increase of Russian tourists coming to the Philippines. And profile of the Russian tourists, they usually come in families. They stay for at least 14 days. They spend a lot of money. Favorite destination? Boracay, Palawan, Bohol, and Kamsur. Well, that's all beaches, and of course they like beaches. You should understand that winter in Russia is quite harsh and quite long. And we would like to see more Russians coming. And since we are here in Vladivostok, I understand from our friends from the Department of Tourism that a tour operator here, one of the reputable tour operator here in Vladivostok is trying to arrange a flight direct to Manila. And as we are talking now, this tour operator is in the Philippines. They are now in Boracay, looking for hotels to make arrangement for the Russians more Russians will be coming to the Philippines. They say the Russians are coming. I would say they are already here in the Philippines. And I would also say that tourism is one of the very good potential for tourism in the Philippines. And we would like to see more and more of the Russians coming in the Philippines. Also, talking about Vladivostok, since we are here in Vladivostok, which the Russian government would like to say the gateway to the Asia Pacific. So we would like also to say that Vladivostok is our entry point. And note that Vladivostok is the nearest point in Russia. From the Philippines, if you fly, you take only 5 hours. We fly from Moscow to Vladivostok, that's 8 hours. So Philippines is much nearer than Moscow. And we would like to see, of course, a lot of Russians coming in the Philippines. And second, we would like to do business here. On the middle of this month, a group of Filipino exporters, mangoes, other kinds of fruits, yeah. These are our people from Cebu. Bananas, yeah, bananas. These are fresh bananas and mangoes. They're coming here to Vladivostok to talk to potential buyers of our fruits. And I think this is something exciting because this will be done here in Vladivostok. I was talking to our honorary consul here, and he is arranging this meeting. And I'd like to mention that this initiative comes from Cebu, and this has been done through the efforts of the Russian honorary consul and Cebu Army Lopez Garcia. And I think a lot of things are still coming up. We would like to let the Russians know that we have beautiful furnitures. We would like to let them know that we have marine products. We have fashionable items. There are many things that we can sell. And I think this is the job I'll have to do. Other areas of possible cooperation are in the area of energy, in the area of extractive industry, because Russia has a very extensive experience in the extractive industry, and they also have the technology, like in the mining and in the extraction of oil and gas. We would like them also to come and look for opportunities in our PPP projects, the public-private partnership. The other thing also is we have started talking to the Russian counterparts about a possible agreement in the area of labor and readmission. There is an increasing number of Filipinos here in Russia, and if to categorize our kababayans here, one group of Filipinos are those former students. As you will know, we have quite a good number of students before in Moscow, and mainly some of them have opted to stay here, and now they're employed by some of the embassies, some of the private companies. And these students speak very good Russian, and they have very good experience here. Well, the other group of people that we have here are professionals. They are connected with the multinationals of offices here, or big Russian private companies. You might also want to note that we have some chefs here, and they work in big hotels, in restaurants, and of course we also have the household service workers. I think the bulk of our kababayans are working with Russian households, and we have also technical people. We have engineers, operators of machines, and many of them are just up here. Up here from Vladivostok is a huge island called Sakhalin, and there are projects going on there. There are private companies, international companies have contracts there, and they have hired our people. They are engineers, pipe fitters, operators of equipment, welders, and many other skilled and semi-skilled people. At one time, I think there are 50, and at one time there are 100 people. And by the way, we have some Filipinos also here in Vladivostok. Yeah, I was told that, and we know that we have some 10 Filipinos here, and these Filipinos are married to the Russian nationals. We have estimated that there are more than 2,000 Filipinos, but most of our kababayans are situated or are residing in the Moscow area. So there are at least 2,000, but those Filipinos outside of Moscow, many of them are married to the Russian nationals. And I would like to take note that in this APEC conference, there's a group of Filipinos working actually here as service workers in the restaurants and in the hotels here. And I understand that They came from Cebu, from Movenpick, and there are about 70 of them working here in as service workers at the APEC conference. The significance of our participation in APEC, you might want to note that APEC is a premier forum for facilitating the economic growth, cooperation, and innovative growth. And the whole APEC economies comprise of 40% of the world's population, and 44% of the world trade is in the APEC countries, and 54% of the world's GDP, or gross domestic product, is from the APEC countries. So you can imagine how significant APEC is. It is the premier forum for facilitating economic growth, cooperation, and innovative growth. So definitely the Philippines will benefit from its participation, annual participation in APEC, considering these figures. About the ABAC is one of the unique features which was adopted by the APEC, and it was APEC who first adopted this kind of unique arrangement where the world's economies of the 21 countries' top CEOs are invited to discuss issues which are pressing and issues where the business people think is pressing and very important. And during the ABAC, they discussed these issues. And as I said, a unique feature of APEC, the ABAC leaders meet with the 21 leaders of the 21 economies and discuss the problems of the business sector. This year, the Philippines is represented by, among the top CEOs in the Philippines, Jaime Sobel de Ayala, and Tony Tan Kakchong, and of course Doris Magsaysay. The Russian government would like to portray or would like the world to see that Vladivostok is Russia's gateway to the Asia Pacific. Enormous preparations were made for this APEC conference here in Vladivostok. As you land in the airport, you will immediately notice that there is a brand new airport in preparation for the APEC. And then as you drive through the streets, as you drive to the highway, you will notice new infrastructure, and the city has been spruced up, new infrastructure has been made, new highways, and as you go closer, you will notice a huge bridge to the Ruski Island, which is the site of the conference, and a lot of efforts. I would say it's an engineering feat to build this hanging bridge, which they call cable-stayed bridge. And this is probably one of the world's longest and largest cable-stayed bridge, the bridge that connects the mainland Vladivostok to Ruski Island. I was also told that before the infrastructure was made here, where we are staying, the island was just a barren island with some small villages, fishing villages. And now, as you can see, it is a sprawling complex of hotels and convention centers. And of course, after the conference, the Russian government will convert these facilities into a Far Eastern Federal University.
So what do you think can we get from this, since we're about to host in 2015 the APEC, what can we get from these preparations? Can you comment on this?
Oh, yes. During this APEC conference, I think we expect an announcement that the Philippines will be hosting the 2015 APEC conference. And I think our participation here, our attendance here, would give us an idea of how preparations are made. Of course, we have an experience in 1996 when we hosted the APEC in Subic, but our experience here, of course, will give us an idea on how we are going to prepare the infrastructure, the human resource that is needed, the needs of the delegates, the other areas like facilities, hotels, services, restaurants. And I think our people who are working for this APEC conference have a good grasp, have a good idea on how the preparations were made. And of course, you will think the expenses they have made for the building the infrastructure, and early preparation, of course, would be to our advantage. Sa ating mga kababayan dito sa Russia, gusto ko lang ipaabot na kami sa embahada ay laging handa para tumulong sa inyo at andyan lagi kami. 24 hours, pwede nyo kami tawagan, meron kaming hotline, and pag kayo may mga pangangailangan, huwag kayong magdadalawang isip. Basta pumunta o tumawag lang kayo sa embahada, andyan kami at handa kami lahat magtulong sa inyo. Mabuhay kayo.